All right. Okay, that's working. Hey, I have audio according to this. All right, let's go. Hello. How's everyone doing today? Got off to a slightly slower start than I wanted to, but what you gonna do? So I'm gonna try something new today, and we'll see how this works. Because I got some comments about my focus, the camera focus. So I'm gonna try using the autofocus today. We'll see how that works. I try and lock it usually, but there's a little bit of drift, and that's caused some issues. All right. Now, before I can start painting today, I have to varnish today. I can't give a good demo on how to varnish. Um, I don't think, because I'm not exactly set up for it. But I can go over how I varnish, and yeah. Let's see, I can do this, and I can show you how I varnish. It's very simple. I mean, it's very, very simple. So for varnish, there's a ton of different options out there. I use Gamvar. It is a good varnish for certain things. It is not the best varnish, though. Gamvar is good because you can put it on basically as soon as the what's it called? As soon as the painting is dry to the touch. But the issue with it is that it what's it called? It's not UV protective. If you want a UV varnish, I think you have to wait 6 months to a year until the painting is completely cured. Well, completely, relatively speaking, and then you can varnish it with a UV varnish. And I do not know what a good brand of UV varnish is, unfortunately. All right. So I'm just going to grab this piece of cardboard here. Just whatever. I use it to cut. I use it as a cutting mat, basically. And let's see. Where's my tape? Ah, here we go. I'll just grab some tape. This is all just to hold the painting in place. So I just make a little loop. Like I said, this is literally just to hold the painting in place. Put the painting down. And I'm going to make sure that the painting, is dust free. This painting has been dry for a long time. It's pretty sturdy. And now I'm going to varnish it. I use one of these. I don't know that this is the best thing to use to varnish a painting. Yeah. But that's what I use. I know they sell like very fancy, very expensive brushes for varnishing. Don't know how good they are in comparison to this. The good thing about this is they're very cheap and easy to replace. Oh, and the other thing about Gamvar, so there's a few other things. Most varnishes you, what's it called? Most varnishes you want to have ample, oh my god, my brain is not functioning today. Ventilation, that's the word. You want to have ample ventilation, when you varnish. This is a very small painting, and I do have some ventilation, so I'm not worried about it, but yeah. And then the other thing is, my understanding is Gamvar has Gamsol in it, or something like Gamsol. So you don't actually have to wash your brush. You just put more varnish on it, and when it comes into contact with the wet varnish, it will release, because right now it's very stiff and hard from the varnish, but it will release. And that's my understanding, at least. So undoubtedly you've seen those pour videos on, what's it called? Online, where people like pour the varnish, and then my understanding that's not the best thing to do in the world, technically, although it makes for great videos. Generally you want to put it in a dish and dip, I think. This is such a small painting that I just am going to pour it basically into the brush and then just brush it on. And then it's a very simple, very, very straightforward, just like brushing it on. There, really nothing all that special about it. I just want to make sure I cover everything. This painting has a little bit of impasto, so I'm going to go in basically all the directions to try and make sure it gets into every nook and cranny. So the impasto isn't getting in the way. Yeah. Obviously, pick out any hairs if I see them. Hey, Ransom Kid, welcome. It's good to see you. It's been forever. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. So, yeah. That's it. Literally varnished. Like, it's very, very, very simple. And then, let's see, yeah. So you can see it slightly overexposed, but yeah, just, yep, all wet. I may have actually put a little too much on it. That is one thing you want to avoid. You don't want it to pool. I see it pooling at the very bottom. So I'm going to go and just pull off that little bit that's pooling. I don't want it to create like a ridge or a lip or anything. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it up back here to dry. That's all. So for anyone who's catching this and isn't clear on the simulcast issue, I'm simulcasting to YouTube and to Twitch, which means I have both chats open simultaneously. So if anyone's wondering who the heck is he talking to, it's because I might be talking to someone in the other chat. Just so people know, YouTube is higher video quality and being streamed at higher video quality, and it has better VODs. So if you want to follow me, I think YouTube is like the main place. Twitch has such a better chat system though. It's kind of a mix. And the art community on Twitch is actually really great. I have to give them props. They lean more towards the digital art in general, but not solely. And like I said, such a great art community. In case you didn't hear me or it didn't come through, Ransom Kid, I just wanted to say hi again. Ransom Kid still is a viewer of mine from a long time ago, and because I stopped streaming on Twitch for forever. All right, let's see if I can set the focus, and let's see if I'll stay in focus today. All right, let's see how the painting's doing today. It may be wet or it may be dry. Let's find out. Sometimes you can just look at it and tell, especially with reflections, but it's not a perfect system. I also suspect it's dry, so I'm not like I'll be surprised if any of it is actually wet to the touch. So yeah. Like I thought. All right, dry. So I'm going to oil out today and then get started on it. Okay, apparently I have to clean my palette too. Jeez. Thought I put it... I need to find my clove oil. So I use clove oil in my palette. It helps in an airtight container. It helps the paint stay fresher for longer. But I can't find my little bottle of clove oil, and it needs to be refreshed every once in a while because it's like I saturate a cotton ball with clove oil, but I can't find like I said, it needs to be refreshed every once in a while. If anyone sees the light like shaking a lot and everything, let me explain what's going on. In case you're wondering, like why? So for oil painting, and I'm not saying this is the perfect setup by any stretch of the imagination, but if you have the ability to, if you're taking it seriously and you have the ability to, getting really good light is really important. It makes a huge difference for the like the colors that you can actually see and what the painting comes out looking like. Huge. So up here I have like above me, like up there, I have a 4-foot LED light, and it's what's it called? Trying to remember the company. They're not sponsoring me, of course, but it's like Lightwave or something like that. It kind of looks like one of the old school fluorescent tubes, and it's one that you can just plug into any outlet, kind of thing. No electrical wiring needed. Just plug it into an outlet. And I have it actually attached to my easel with some goose arms and clamps and zip ties. Very much a like, just kind of getting it, to work whichever way possible. And but so when I shake my easel, the light moves, of course, a little bit. And then the other thing is, it's an exposed, tube. So it projects light in every direction except for the back where the plastic is. So I taped aluminum foil to it to make a shroud that both protects my eyes, so I'm not just blasted with the light in my face all the time, and it helps project the light back to the canvas. And then the other thing is, this is something that comes up in oil painting a lot. Glare is a huge problem in oil painting. And this helps a lot with glare. It has its disadvantages, which I'm happy to talk about, but it helps a lot with glare because it's only, I'd say, about maybe a foot, maybe slightly less, out from the, from the easel. So the angle is really steep. So even when I take something, I'm going to oil out now, so I'm taking Oleogel, which is my preferred oiling out medium. And I just put it on here. I can it disappears, and I can't see it anymore, practically. There's no glare. But if I go down on my knees, I can see the wetness and the glare from it. That's not perfect. If the canvas is too tall, I get glare. So I can also lower the easel arm, or whatever it's called. The disadvantages of this whole setup, though, aside from the jankiness of it, is that this is a very strong light, but it does lose potency as it goes. So it's lighter up here than it is down here. On small paintings like this, relatively small paintings like this, not an issue. Large paintings, it's an issue. So yeah, I'll have to add lights around me for larger paintings to compensate. Well, we'll cross that when we get there, kind of thing. I have another light bulb from what's it called? From the company. It's just a regular, style light bulb, not a not one of these big LED things. But yeah. So there's a few, if anyone's looking to get lights for their painting setup, there's a few things to look for. One is to get, they say to get like a neutral, what's it called? Neutral temperature, which I think that is generally considered to be like 52 Kelvin. If I'm not mistaken. I think it's like 52 or 54, something like that. Sorry, not 52, 5200 or 5400, so 5200. Anyway, Kelvin. Sorry. Using shorthand that everybody pretty much uses. But then there's the CRI, which is the color reproduction something. Can't remember what it stands for. You want that to be like over. I mean, you want that to be 100, but like you're not going to get 100. But I think you want it to be like over 95 at least, if color is important to you. And then I recently saw a thing that said that there's CRI and then there's something else, but I couldn't get into it and I forgot to bookmark it, so I'm not sure what it was referring to, unfortunately. I know, very, very helpful. There might be some other stat. Yeah, I know. And then there are some other stats that you can look for, but you're not going to find them in most places. So, this light bulb has I don't want to like it's something about the red lights that it like pumps up a bit so that you see more red, or you see what's it called, the reproduction of red better, something like that. I don't know exactly. I don't know what you'd look for, but they do talk about it on their website. So it either is or isn't important. I was just checking my stream, making sure everything's okay. I get all these notifications while I'm streaming, so just checking. All right. So we'll see how today goes. I might have to. I feel like I just started using this new brush, and I feel like I already need to grab a new brush because this one's good, but when I start getting into the detail work, the edges of it are just a little too frayed, even though it's very new. So. Oh, shoot. I remembered what I forgot to do. Oh, well. Just had one of those moments when, like, came back to me in a flash. All right. Man, my paint pools are even semi-dry. Oh shoot, I forgot I'm completely out of white. Uh, uh so generally when you're starting out painting, in case there's any, beginners here who are taking a look, um, you want to put out a lot more paint than I'm putting out, generally speaking. My piles are very small, and this isn't a good way of doing it. The reason I do it this way is because, well, a few things. One, I am, I know how much time I have to paint, so I know I'm limited in time, so I'm only going to use so much. And then the other thing is my paints are so ridiculously strong. My colors, it takes very little, generally speaking. I'll be honest, I don't know that this is a great palette for a beginner. It might be too unwieldy. I don't know. I suppose it depends on the person, but it might just be a little yeah, unwieldy, I guess is the right term for it. But you see, I do put out a lot of white because I go through a ton of white. As far as my colors go, it is bismuth yellow or cad lemon, quinacridone rose, also known as what is it? Permanent rose, or known as quinacridone red sometimes. It depends on the company, unfortunately. The pigment code is PV19, but that isn't the most helpful because like Gamblin has two what's it called? Two paints that use PV19, and they're both different. It's one's quinacridone rose and one's quinacridone red. So I know, not the most helpful. Rose is leans a little more towards like the blue or violet side, or purple. I can never remember. Yeah, violet. I think got a little more coolness to it than the red. But yeah, PV19. And then this is phthalo blue, which if you've never used phthalo blue, you gotta be very like, I don't know, gentle with it. I don't know if that's the right term, but it has a tendency to tint everything and kind of infect all your paints. But I like it over ultramarine blue because ultramarine blue leans too purple, and you can't get those like turquoise colors from it, like cerulean. You can't get into that realm. However, you can with what's it called? Phthalo blue. But phthalo blue also does a good job of going purple. So that's why I like phthalo blue. However, if you're doing like a split palette or an extended palette, you're not doing a primary palette, which this basically is. Oh, and I use Mars Black. But yeah. This is essentially a primary palette. The reason I use a primary palette, there's no perfect palette. There's, but the reason I go for the primary palette is I want a limited palette, and I want the widest range of hues and chroma. So that's why, yeah, that's why this palette. It does have disadvantages, which I suppose I can talk about. Disadvantages of this palette is you spend, or depending on how you want to look at it, waste a lot of time mixing. There's no browns. There's no there's no built-in grays, and the world is, there's a lot of brown and gray in the world, just in general. So you spend a lot of time mixing. I think that's also an advantage, though, because you got to get good at it. Because if you don't, you're just gonna, suffer through it, I guess. Yeah. I do use a lot of white because the paints are they're so strong that I almost never use them at like full saturation. So I'm always desaturating my paint, and adding white and black to my paints is an easy way of desaturating them. It's not a perfect way of desaturating them. There's also complementary colors, of course, but one way is that. Oh, so sorry about that. Apologies. I did not have time to mute. I apologize. Where was I? Oh, the colors, let's see. I think with the exception of the yellow, I think they're all pretty affordable. Our Berlin, wait, our Berlin, welcome. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I'm simulcasting to Twitch and YouTube now. I'm trying it out at least. Am I asleep in Germany here? So I'll just lurk for a while. No worries. Is it morning, or it'd be morning for you, like early morning? Assuming it's morning, good morning. Welcome. Yeah, it's frustrating. The chat in Twitch is so much better, but the stream quality on YouTube is better. So, you know. Okay, so it's those hours. Got it. Well then, I hope you sleep well when you finally do fall asleep. Yeah, I can look up the what's it called? I can look up the Pigment series. I think they're all pretty affordable. Like they're all in the lower series, with the exception of the yellows. And technically speaking, uh, get those eyes on your art. Yeah, absolutely. I'm working on it. I've been. You don't know this because I only started simulcasting recently. I have been consistently um, streaming. I think it's been 3 times a week for like 3 months now, or something like that. So I'm pretty consistent at this point. Not perfect. I went to visit my dad or something, so not perfect, but still pretty consistent. Pretty consistent. Oh, and you probably don't even know this. Um, the show I'm on was released recently. So I do storyboards for Bento Box. Um, Crapopolis. It's probably I'm assuming it's in Germany, maybe online through Hulu or Disney Plus, maybe. Not sure. I don't know if you get Fox like TV channel there, but yeah. Don't feel obligated to watch, although I will say it is a funny show. How have you been? Oh well, you're lurking. I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to ask you how you're doing, but at the same time, don't feel obligated to answer. You barely watch anything. That does sound great, though. Congrats. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a fun show. But I feel you. I don't watch a lot of things either. Oh, I almost forgot. I was talking about the palette, and there was something I wanted to mention and forgot, which is um, using a limited palette in general has a lot of advantages um, when it comes to having a harmonious painting. Um, because generally speaking, you end up using most of the colors in almost everything. So you don't end up having, and you still can, but it's less common. You don't end up having these colors that just kind of come out of nowhere and seem disconnected from the painting. Like I said, it can happen. You can, if you're determined, you can make it happen. But you know, it is less likely. It tends to naturally make the painting more harmonious. The limitation of it is, in general, of a limited palette is obviously you're limited. And if your paints aren't as wide chroma, you will be far more limited in the colors and the ranges you can reach, which is often a very good thing. It's just something. Good to see. Good to see you still arting. Absolutely, Rancid Kid. Welcome. I was saying hi to you before. I think you may have stepped away, but yeah, it's good to be back. I'm mostly on YouTube. I am streaming to Twitch as much as I can, but I'm prioritizing YouTube over Twitch if I have to choose. Um, for numerous reasons that don't need to get into right now. Um, yeah. So, you know, I guess like, subscribe, do all the, if you feel like it. Oh, I hit the mute just in time. Uh, so I bought a little lavalier mic thing here. I'm trying out. I'll have to go back and watch the VOD to see how I sound. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah. It's like right here. So when I sneeze, yeah, it's like right into the mic. I'm trying to be, aware of that. Yeah, I'm slowly trying to, up the stream level in every way I can. Slowly, no rush. Like this thing keeps popping up and not really helping with the glare. I'm working on it. Someone commented on one of my live streams, on the VOD, that my painting was out of focus. And I go back and I'm like, man, it was in focus, but then the focus drifted a little. So I'm trying the autofocus today. We'll see how that works. But yeah, they're right. The focus drifted. I know I was talking about something, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was. So something about palettes, but I don't remember. Anyways, everyone who's in chat, if you feel like it, and anyone who's watching the VOD after the fact, what palette do you use? I'm curious. What palette do you all use and why? I have gone through numerous iterations of my palette, and at the moment, this is what I've settled on. But I'm not, I'm not, what's it called? I'm open to changing my palette. I recently did a painting in the Zorn palette just to try it out. I didn't like it. I'll be honest. I was missing my cool colors. I really like my cool colors. Apparently, I was really missing that. But otherwise, it was a great palette. And I'm really happy with the painting I got out of it. I did a portrait of Adam Kadima, the painter. Yeah, came out really good. Really happy with it. yeah, I'm curious what everyone uses. Maybe you all will called open my eyes to a new palette. I used to use a way more like traditional palette, like ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, what was it? Burnt umber or raw umber? I can't remember. One of the umbers. What else was in there? Obviously white. No black, because you can't use black. I think there was like a strong red and yellow. I can't remember though. I think it's like Cad Red Light and Cad Red. No, Alizarin Crimson. How could I forget Alizarin Crimson? By the way, if anyone's watching this who doesn't know, true Alizarin Crimson, not the like fake Alizarin Crimson, is a terribly well, okay, this is not debatable, but people argue about it, but it is a fugitive color, so it will fade over time. And from what I've heard, it's pretty drastic. And of course, most of the people I've talked to don't like the fake Alizarin Crimson because it's not quite perfect. Anyways, just thought I'd mention it. But yeah, and then I think Cad Red and maybe a strong yellow, like a Cad Red Light and a Cad Yellow. I think, I don't know, something like that. That kind of sounds like what I think my palette used to be. And then I tried exploring on my own, and I kind of went with a split palette. So I had ultramarine blue, which is a purple blue, and then I had cerulean. I think it was cerulean hue technically, because I think the real stuff's expensive. And then I had all the older colors. Well, not all of them. Umber and yellow ochre, and I think Cad Yellow Light and Cad Red. Yeah, Cad Red Light, sorry. I think that's what it was. Or maybe not entirely split. And then I added magenta, which, by the way, if you're looking at magenta for a color in your palette, Quinacridone Rose is better than magenta. It just, in every measurable, like, the only reason you could, magenta could be better than Quinacridone Rose is if it just happens to like really speak to you, or you find it easier to work with, or something like that. But Quinacridone Rose is like objectively a better color in every other way. And the reason I say that is because you can take Quinacridone Rose. Let's see. Creative Fit says, "Hey, oil painting chap. Hope all is well." Yeah, man, all's well. First time chatter, welcome. Yeah. I'm just talking. Questions are welcome. Any subjects is not any subjects, but welcome to, ask questions or whatever it is. Not exactly just a long time. It's a little what's it called? my Twitch chat thing says it's first time. That's why I was like, been a bit since I've caught you streaming. Yeah, I haven't been streaming in like on Twitch for a long time. I stream on YouTube more regularly. I'm trying to simulcast as much as I can, but I do prioritize YouTube over Twitch because the stream quality is better on YouTube and the VODs are better on YouTube. The community is stronger on Twitch, and the chat is better on Twitch, the chat functions and everything. But yeah, YouTube is my priority. But I do try and simulcast as much as I can. Yeah, sorry, I thought the name looked familiar, but it was saying first time, so I'm like, all right, I trust the machines. They wouldn't lie to me, would they? Machines would never lie to us. AI, yeah, seriously. They have Chat GPT running this thing. It's just hallucinating a little. It needs to get off the mushrooms. But yeah, I'm happy I can simulcast because I really did miss the community on Twitch. I think the community on Twitch is really great. I've literally made like friends from streaming on Twitch when I did. So yeah. I'm glad I can simulcast. Oil painting in SoCal, just getting back to it now that I have a studio with ventilation. All right, that's good. You gotta have that ventilation if you use certain things. I will say this: I'm gonna talk for a minute about studio safety and ventilation. And if you probably know all this stuff, so don't take it like me lecturing you. I just, in general, I'm going to bring it up since you mentioned it. But I'd love to hear what you're working on, and I'm really happy for you. Before I get into it, that's great. Congratulations on the new studio. That's fantastic. Okay, studio safety and ventilation. All right, so studio safety in general, and so a lot of the stuff that oil painters use and acrylic painters, just FYI, acrylic painters too, the fumes that these things put off are really not good for you. And that's why they say have, adequate ventilation. An open door is not adequate ventilation. You need to be moving the air. Just an open door is not enough. Also, if it opens to the rest of your house and the air never leaves the house, long term that can be a problem. So just kind of FYI, be aware of it. A lot of things that you may not think have that put off fumes do. I got really sick one time from using an acrylic. What is it? It was like an acrylic medium. It was a special company, a particular company, but it off-gassed and put out these really, really noxious fumes that made me very sick. Because I was just sitting in it and I couldn't even smell it after a while. And my girlfriend came in and was like, "Oh my God, that smells awful." I'm like, "What? I can't smell anything," but I had like the worst headache. And it lasted like 2 days. So just, be aware, acrylics can do that too. Most people don't think they can. They can. What else? Mediums. A lot of oil painting mediums have solvents in it, so they give off fumes. Not all, but a lot do. As far as pigments go, a lot of pigments are toxic. That's just pigments. It has nothing to do with oil paint. It applies to every paint. Anything that has pigments in it, some of these pigments are very, very toxic. Oil paint just has lead if you get lead white. That's like one of the few things that it has that nothing else has. Don't sand your paintings. It's not worth it. And the reason I say that is when you sand your paintings, you create dust from your pigments. Very dangerous unless you have like a setup that can actually deal with that. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Some pigments can absorb through the skin. A lot can't. So like if you get, I think it's Gamblin says that they formulate their CADs to not be absorbable through the skin because like the size of the pigment is too large. But at the same time, like don't take chances. Just I wear gloves, partially because I have, I don't want anything on my hands, and partially because I have cats. But yeah, goes without saying, but I say it all the time. Don't eat your paints. They look tasty. I know. They really do sometimes, but don't eat your paints. One of the huge dangers of oil painting is something that isn't talked about enough. And a lot of people aren't aware of it at all, which is spontaneous combustion. And the thing is, it's not specific to oil painting, right? This is something that's specific to drying oils. So people use oils for construction if you build like a wood deck in your backyard or a railing or anything like that, and you use oil to like finish it or treat it or whatever. Oil soaked rags, when they dry, they don't dry like water. They cure, so they oxidize and they produce heat. Now it's minuscule, but if it's an oil-soaked rag crumpled up in a bin, in a trash can, with other things crumpled up, and it traps all that heat inside, it can spontaneously combust. So be aware of that. There are ways to deal with it. There are special trash cans you can buy, which are very, very expensive. You can take your rags and lay them out flat to dry, because if they're laid out flat, they won't be able to trap that heat in, and unless there's some weird circumstance that I can't think of right now. So be smart about it. Basically, this is me covering my ass. Don't sue me. But yeah, theoretically, that's one way of doing it. And then another way, this is one I do, because so I use shop towels or shop paper towels. I don't use like cotton rags. I don't feel comfortable leaving my rags out with my animals in case they like jump around and get into something. So instead, I save containers, jars, stuff like that. I fill it with water and soap like dish soap, because dish soap breaks down oil and water, and seal it, and then it can't combust. And you are supposed to take that and dispose of it properly, which I 100% do. I absolutely do that. So yeah, so those are my. Oh, I have a couple more safety things. I'm just going to put it all out there right now. Why not? Let's see. Creative Fit says, we have a tiny little place here in California, but we rent a studio I use for large acrylic canvases, and the largest shed for oils. All of the oil safety talk. I always get worried when I see folks painting and I can't tell how they are dealing with the fumes. Yes. So you can paint without fumes. I do that. None of the mediums I use have solvents in it. I use walnut oil, which is just an oil, and I use oleo gel, which is a linseed oil, no solvent in it. So I don't use any solvents. I do use Gamsol at the end of my session to clean my brush. I have a airtight container. I just open it, swish my brushes around in it, clean them off, tighten it up again, all good. That's for convenience. I have a large enough room that, that minute or whatever, not a big deal. And today I varnished the painting, and once again, same thing. It was like a tiny little painting. The varnish has fumes, but it's so small. It's not open for a long time. Not a big deal. But yeah, otherwise I don't use what's it called? I don't use solvents in my painting practice at all. The way I deal with not having the solvents is I don't tone my canvases. I block in like my canvas. I block in my drawing, and then I block in all the major paint colors. And then I take one of these and I go over my whole painting, and that kind of spreads the paint around. And it gives me a lot of good effects that I really like, but it also kind of tones the canvas that way. So that's kind of how I get around it. The other thing is, to clean my brush, I literally just do this. I don't clean my brush while I'm painting. If I really, really need to clean my brush while I'm painting, I will take just a little bit of walnut oil, dip it in some, and then just clean the brush with a little bit of walnut oil. Yeah. Interesting. Haven't seen that. Yeah, Brayer. It's for print making. There's a few artists that use it. I got it from them because I like their art. Like I like Jeremy Mann, he uses it, and Alpi Effie or Alfie Pay. Man, I can't remember his name. He's on YouTube. He's big. He's a really good painter. He also uses a brayer. So I use it differently than they do, admittedly, which I'm very happy about because you like to not be a copy of things. But yeah. And then to clean my brush, like I said, I do use some Gamsol at the end, but you can also just use oil. And I rarely clean my brushes like a deep clean. I basically just swish it in some Gamsol, then I swish them in some safflower oil, which is a very slow drying oil, and then I just leave them out. And if I don't paint for the next day, I just dip them in some safflower oil again, just to keep them wet. Yeah, I don't wash my brushes often. It's a pain in the ass, and I feel like it harms them more than it helps them. But when I do wash them, if I know I'm not going to be painting for a while, and I know I'm not going to be, whatever, or if I have a brush that's really messed up, I use this. It's the Murphy's Oil wood cleaner, natural derived, I guess. I don't know, whatever. It's just cleaning oil. Yeah, I don't know. Mix it with some water, and then clean all the brushes. If I need to, I leave it to sit. I leave some brushes to sit in it if they need it. But yeah, that's how I handle not having solvent. Don't know any artists who enjoy cleaning brushes. I know, right? No, none. Zero artists enjoy that. But the big thing is that I do think it harms them, usually. If you're not going to be using them immediately, yeah, go clean them. As soon as you're done painting, it's better for them. But if you're going to be painting, the next day, I honestly think it harms them more than it helps. You can also dip your brushes in clove oil, which also slows drying times. And some people go crazy and put them in the freezer, stuff like that. You can do stuff like that too if you want. Yeah, a lot of famous artists use their interns or their what's it called? Their apprentices to do all the brush cleaning. It's a very common trope. So yeah, that is my. I've heard about clove oil or suspending brushes. Yeah, some people suspend them in oil. That too. That's also a thing. Both. Yeah. Oh, there is two final safety tips I think I need to mention regarding solvents. Just because you can't smell it, because some of them advertise that you can't smell it. Just because you can't smell it doesn't mean it's not killing you. And I don't know this from experience, but I read the label and I saw a video. You can go watch her video if you want. Her name is Lena Danya. She's on YouTube. She tells the experience she had of accidentally drinking her solvent. So, because she kept it in a jar, and she was also drinking out of a jar that was identical, and she wasn't paying attention, and she drank her solvent. Check the bottle and call poison control. Don't immediately induce vomiting, because apparently that's, depending on the solvent, way more dangerous than just letting it pass through. Depending on how much and so on. But it even says it on the label, do not induce vomiting. So just a little FYI. But yeah, Lena Danya is a fun content creator on YouTube. I like her paintings and stuff. She's been around for a long time. So yeah, I think I've maxed out my my what's it called? My safety tips. I think I've hit the wall. Goes back to your first recommendation, don't eat paint. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wish my computer. So I'm going to talk about my setup real quick, and there's relevance to this. I'll get to it in a second. So the way my setup is, I have a desk that I work at for work, and it's a sit-stand desk. They've really come down in prices, which I'm very happy about. And I have it raised, and I have one of the monitors turned towards me for my reference and for chat. But I would say, like, so my webcam is like right over here, but my monitor's over there. I would say like 4 feet away from me, something like that. So it's very hard to like, I want to ask you Creative Fit, like what you're working on, if you wanted to share some stuff. But every time I have to interact with my computer directly, I have to like step over to my computer and completely like stop what I'm doing. You're going to throw me up on the big screen while you prep a canvas? Awesome. Lurking, feel free to chat. Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, prepping canvases, I don't know how you feel about that. Insta360, trying to buy one? Wait, what? Hands-free camera. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Nice. I just bought this lav mic. I have it clipped to me over here. I'm trying to improve the stream quality, so I bought this recently, a wireless mic. So when I move around, at least I can, talk still. Because I know that's really what you all are here for. Not my art, but my horrible, horrible voice. Also have a second monitor? Yeah. Well, I technically have 2 monitors, but they're on top of each other basically because it's for work. So I have a Cintiq Alternative, an XP pen, and then above that I have a regular monitor. Like I said, they're over there. Yeah, it'd be nice to have everything like accessible. I'm working on it. I might be building a new computer. I'm trying to figure that out right now. I been trying to do some video stuff for the stream, and I've run into some weird computer stuff, which is always fun. But I honestly think I have a very unique use case, and like nothing online helps me figure this stuff out. Although, actually, this is actually a use case for most artists. Actually, if you make videos out of your art, if you want to make a put a TV, $25 from Goodwill, and $25 HDMI cable. Yeah. You know what it is? I think actually more than the TV, I think it's the what's it called? The mouse and keyboard and stuff. I might buy one of those like little wireless keyboard mice combo thingies. That'll let me like, I can pick it up and like scroll through everything and type and do all that stuff remotely while I'm standing here. I think that might be actually better. Oh, but I was going to say, yeah, artists. I don't know if you deal with this. Yes, wireless Bluetooth are great. Goes through walls, yeah. So I'm trying to make time lapses of my paintings, right? Which I think is a very common thing. A lot of artists do that. Well, I have to speed up the footage so much that the computer just can't like play through it. Because it's sped up so much, it's like trying to show all the frames. Like it just can't manage that. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll export it as a video and then do that. Which that works. The problem is that even on exporting it, it's like takes forever. And I don't know necessarily if this is a problem with my computer or a problem with the technology because of what I'm trying to do with it. And so few people make time lapses like this that I can't find but I can't find a lot of good information online about that. Dragon Frame 5 with hardware? Okay. Is that a program? No, I'm happy to talk about this. I'm I'm not talking about it. Like I don't have anything else necessarily to talk about, so I'm happy to talk about it. Dragon Frame 5 with hardware. Is that a program or is that a hardware stop motion program with control? Does it convert video into like can it take a video? $350. Okay. Not cheap, but okay. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Can it take a regular video and turn it into a time lapse? I love this because there's so many things that like the internet makes us think that we have all the answers at our fingertips. And we do have access to a ton of information, but when you don't know what you don't know, you don't know how to search for it either. Look into it, not your current ones, but you may like the handheld control. Okay, no, I'll definitely look into it. That's very helpful. At least it's an avenue to look into it. Because that's the thing, if you don't know what to look for, how do you search for it? You don't know if something even exists. I tried to look up. This is such a minor thing, but I was trying to find an adapter for a those like scissor arms or the like I actually have my camera or my cell phone on one of these like arms. It's like those those desk arms that like you have lights on them or you have a mic on them or whatever. I was trying to find the part that like hooks into the clamp because I was trying to find a more robust clamp, and I wanted to put the arm that I currently had for, or actually it's for my girlfriend Michelle, for her microphone. I just wanted we had the arm, but I needed a more robust clamp. I don't know what that thing is called. I don't know what number that little thing is. I don't even know what the name of it is. I'm trying to find it. I'm, searching, trying to figure out like what is this thing? How do I even search for it? You know what I mean? Wow, that was huge waste of my time. Like, I spent so much time trying to figure that out, you know? You're always trying to find art patrons. They hide in crevices. Clamp to hold mics. Yeah, but so, all right, hold on. I'll explain. So, if you, there's desk clamps that have like, you see like one of these type of things, right? And you can put a microphone on it. People use it for, you know, like podcasting and all that stuff, right? Very, very common, right? Okay. So it has a clamp that, you know, hooks onto the desk, right? What is this? This part. This part. What size is this? What's the name of it? How do I find out? And if I need an adapter for this, I don't know. So, so yeah, that was a whole thing. I mean, I eventually like figured it out and found something to, you know, to make it work, but it it took a while. It took longer than I'd like to admit. You would drill through it and make your own adapter. Fair, but it's not perfect because stuff like that I buy way too much random parts and have on hand to make things work. All right, that first of all, sure, if you have it, great. I don't. I don't have a lot of that stuff for that type of thing. And then the desk is it's an IKEA desk and it like is it won't hold up to stuff like that very well. So it's just one of those things where I'm like trying to, you know, it's not that important, but it was just one of those things that I was just like trying to figure all that crap out. But yeah, you can see I bought the DVE10. That's my main camera. Um, and I bought this like big, what's it called? Um, tripod with an arm. That's for my studio. Oh, the other thing? No, it was for a microphone. It was just it was for Michelle's microphone, but it's her desk is the problem, not the microphone. The desk is an IKEA desk that's like it can't take the weight and the pressure from the mic arm moving, and it's like it's basically breaking the desk apart. So I was trying to find like a more robust clamp to spread that out a bit and so on, you know. And they sell metal plates that you can put, which I found out you can put metal, you know, metal plates and a bigger clamp and like put, you know, help distribute some of that weight around. Yes, drilling through would be an option too if you have it and you have the parts and so on. That can also work for sure. Glad you figured it out. Yeah. This was a while ago. It's just one of those things that stuck in my head because it was like I'm trying to look for something that I don't even know the name of. That was the main thing. But I appreciate the help with the what's it called, with the stop motion thing. That's a great idea. I didn't even think about it. So I'll be doing some research on that. Because I've been really frustrated by this whole thing. And I'm even looking at like upgrading my PC because of it, and I'm just, you know, I'm not sure I even need the upgrade, but I'm like, it's just for that thing that I want to. But yeah. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Here to support. Ah, that is very sweet. Before we got what's it called? Before I got sidetracked to this, I was gonna mention that I hate prepping canvases. I am so lazy about that. I hate prepping canvases. I know some artists love it. I hate it. I can't stand it. I'm always looking for ways of either buying things that I don't have to prep at all, or finding ways to prep things very quickly and easily. My go-to for prepping canvases. Okay, first of all, I don't use canvases. The canvas I'm prepping is for a backdrop. Uh, padding this padding the stream I have to do. Have to steam it before you gesso it. Got it. Okay. Hating. Okay. That does not sound fun. Yeah, I almost, okay, not almost never. I've so far like once painted on canvas. Everything else has been on either paper or something hard, like, wood or metal or something, or plastic. And yeah. I I don't I'm not a fan of painting on canvas necessarily. I don't like the feel of it. And I hate prepping it. So aside from buying panels that are pre-prepped for me, uh, that can be expensive. But I'm just talking in general, not just to you. Creative Fit. I know you. Anybody who's an artist knows this, that they're like this pre-prepped panels can be expensive. But sometimes they're on sale or something really good, so it's kind of worth it. But my other go-to is there are some papers that are designed for oil painting, stuff like that. I'm trying some of those out. But my other thing is what is it? Acrylic matte medium. It's very convenient. It's even more convenient than gesso, and I hate acrylic gesso anyways. because I'm too lazy to sand it. And if you want acrylic gesso to be really nice, you kind of have to put that time in to like sand it and make it all nice. And I don't. So it's always like rough and super dry and gross. But acrylic matte medium doesn't do any of that. So actually, some people I think acrylic matte medium is too slippery. Like it's too like non-absorbent. But yeah, I like it. And you can put it on wood, you can put it on paper. Yeah, pretty versatile. Candles are fun. Usually enjoy prep, but not the steaming process. Yeah, that sounds awful. That sounds miserable. Yeah, panels. I like panels. If you're in I don't know in other countries, but if you're in America, um, obviously Home Depot, you can buy wood panels. That's something, you know, that, but you need tools to cut wood panels. They'll cut it for you, but their cutter isn't very good. And so if you wanna like take care of that at home, you have to have the right tools for it and everything, and the space for it, you know, so on. And a lot of people do, so that's great, and it's super economical. You know, so that's all good. But something people don't know is aluminum composite panels, ACM. They are, relatively speaking, affordable if you buy them the right way. So sign companies or plastic companies sell them, and it's 4 foot by 8 foot. And they'll cut it for you. Every cut costs you money, and also eats up about 1/4 of an inch. So ideally what you do is you have them cut it as many times as you need to fit it in your car comfortably. And the thing about ACM panels is the 3mm ACM panels, you can cut that with a box cutter. So you don't need any special tools. You know, you should have a good metal ruler and a box cutter, and you can cut them. And if you buy them big like that, the price isn't crazy expensive. It's like, I think I bought some once for, it was like $120 for an 8 foot by 4 foot thing with a bunch of cuts, way more cuts than I'd ever ask them to do again. And you know, but that sounds like a lot, but if you do the math of like how many pieces you get out of that, it ends up not being that expensive. And then for prepping them, you can prep them with oil primer if you want. You can prep them with acrylic gesso. You can prep them with, you can glue canvases to them if you want. Or you can do what I do, which is acrylic matte medium. You just can't make them too big. They get wobbly if they're too big. My casting is not loving the steam dimensions. Casting is not loving the steam dimensions. I have to admit, I don't understand that sentence. Yeah, I'm sorry. I I don't get. I don't understand what I'm reading. I don't like. What do you mean by casting? But yeah, so ACM panels, and it's way cheaper than if you buy the ACM panels at the ones that they sell at the art store are way overpriced. So, anyways, I hope that helps somebody. Oh, not able to cast my stream to your TV. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be done with my stream soon. I have to keep it short today, unfortunately. So probably got about another 20 minutes in, and that's about it. I've been slammed with work this week, and yeah, I just just cannot afford to stream late tonight, unfortunately. I do stream. I will plug my stream now as far as like when I stream. I stream Monday night, Wednesday night, and Sunday day for my time. That's Austin, Texas time. So those are the times I stream, and I've been pretty consistent. Like trying to think. I think it's like 3 months I've been going every consistently. So if you have to go, you have to go. No worries. I will be back. That's great. Wife's had me on a morning routine. Probably why I haven't caught you. Hey, no worries. I would be on a morning routine if I could manage it. It's so much better for like life in general. She paints as well. That's awesome. What kind of art does she do? You guys work in the studio together like that? Because you said you renting out a studio. That's I assume this situation. Um, that sounds awesome. He does large graphite on paper, moving to oils. Oh, that's great. Graphite is oh, graphite, not charcoal. Okay, yeah, graphite is. I mean, graphite and charcoal both. They have a different, obviously a different flavor to them, but so beautiful. They can be so beautiful. She asked for a canvas. I gave her the biggest one I had on hand. She emphasized large. Wasn't large enough for her. Yeah, when you go very large, canvases do become the only viable option because of weight. So I know eventually I'll be painting on canvases if I ever do like very large paintings because it just isn't the weight of everything else just becomes unmanageable. That's funny though, that she needed something larger. How large is that? Out of curiosity. She's been teaching and her art itch has been growing over the past few years. That's good. If I tell you the largest painting I've done like recently, you'll laugh. I think compared to like what you're dealing with right now. The largest painting I've done in recent history, you know, of my has been a 30 by 40 inch panel. And I do not recommend I used a panel that I would not recommend people use for that size. It's a little wobbly because it's too large. But yeah, I like it was the largest for me in recent time, but I know it's not that large. The one I gave her was like 48 by something. Yeah. I know it's not that large. Like I'm well aware of that fact. Door size might still be too small for her. Oh my god, that's crazy. Have you ever watched Malcolm in the Middle? I don't know if you ever watched that show. I was not the biggest viewer of it, although I did appreciate it. But the reason I bring it up is because the dad in Malcolm in the Middle at one time takes he like takes vacation days or whatever, and he because he has this idea for a painting that he's been wanting to do for years, and he's like holed up in the garage painting, and it's large. We never see it, but we see it from the back, and it's huge, right? I think we see that when there's nothing on it, but it's huge, right? And he's bringing buckets and buckets of acrylic paint, you know, kind of thing, and working on it, and then they all at the very end they come look at it, and the whole family they're all looking at it, and it's like, it's just not, you know, we don't get to see it, but they're looking at it. We're looking down at them, and he's like, wait a second, and he goes up and he does like two little marks or something, and it like ties the whole thing together, and they're like, oh my god, it's amazing, it's fantastic, blah blah blah, you know, just like gushing over it after that little change. And then the whole thing delaminates because the paint layer is like this thick, and it just comes off. uh, Clearly, that scene, you know, that whole scene kind of stuck with me. Yeah, that was a good show. Like I said, I wasn't a big watcher of it, but it was good. But that scene just stuck with me because for obvious reasons. I might have to bust out an even smaller uh, brush. I cannot. These brushes are just not good quality enough, or I've abused them too much. and I cannot get the sharpness or the detail I'm looking for right now. At a studio class in Venice, there was me who took the second most space from California, and the Texan who took a wall. That's funny. I I feel like I take up a lot of space sometimes just with my like physical space, like my and I'm a big guy, but like I know, for like America size, I am not the biggest guy. Like not by any stretch of the imagination. Like, there are people who are like way larger than me. But yet I still feel like a giant sometimes. I don't know why, but yeah. Especially especially if I ever go to IKEA. When I walk around in IKEA where their couch section, I feel like I'm like on a miniature set for a movie or something. I'm like, that's cute. It's a couch that goes up to my ankle or my calf. I'm not that big. Like I'm like 6 foot. Maybe I've shrunk an inch or something. So like, but like basically 6 foot. But I'm not that big. But yeah, you can't do IKEA. Yeah. Yeah, their couches are just funny to me. It's like I said, I always imagine myself going through there like on a movie set, like like King Kong or something like that. It's going through and crashing through it. Recently got a Murphy bed to save on space. I don't know what a Murphy bed is. I've never heard that term before. I don't know if you've ever seen those videos online of like all those super like space saving houses or apartments. So they're like, it's a small apartment, and it's like everything kind of maneuvers around so that you can have more space. Um, so it's like it's a bedroom, and then you fold everything up and move the wall over, and now it's your working space or whatever. Wall bed. Oh, it's finally casting now. Nice. A wall bed. Okay, yeah, yeah. That's those always seemed really cool. I mean, I'm assuming that it's only as good as the mattress is, but they've always seemed pretty cool. But I do like those videos of those like houses that are like super, you know, they're like super. I love the cleverness of them and everything. But I know that I'm such a messy person. I would get basically stuck in one configuration and never be able to change anything in the place ever again. that I do enjoy looking at those videos sometimes. I think I saw it somewhere. I don't remember where this was, but the original Transformers, um, the people who designed the the original Transformers, they actually designed it all of um all the like all the robots so that they actually could change. Obviously they don't have the mechanics and the working parts in it, but they actually designed them so they were functional in the sense of like at least what they looked like. I'm talking about for like the animation stuff. And later, I'm pretty sure with the CG stuff, they just kind of faked it. Um, you know, when 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 suddenly like metal can kind of grow wherever they want it to or fold into wherever they want it to, kind of thing. I do not have the brain to like design a transformer that can actually transform. In studio, you rent from church, so it keeps me organized and cleaning. Ah, yes. Love the Mythbuster slogan. It's worth doing. What is the Mythbuster slogan? It's worth. Oh, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. That's funny. There's a book I listened to where they have a slogan similar to that, but not as good as that, which is like, um, how you do how you do one thing is how you do everything, and I'm just like, yeah, no, that's not true. That is like 100% not true. But yeah, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. I like that. Man, I used to really like Mythbusters. I miss that show. Correct. I get what they're trying to say, but as an artist, we make it work. Well, what they're trying that what's it called? That saying, the book it's from, he's supposed to be this like soldier guy, and he's like super disciplined, and so the idea is that he does everything, like he like is very disciplined and all that stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, but like I can paint, but like I don't make my bed, so I don't know what to tell you. Like those aren't analogous. Like it just isn't. But I get what they're trying to say. But I think I actually fall into the overdoing category a little bit more. Like I tend to make my life harder. Um, uh, like I can't just do it the simple way. I end up making my life harder by overdoing things in some way. I can't just choose the simple way. I end up always doing the more complicated thing. But I should mention that I don't say that to complain. I do that because like I end up liking the result. Like one of the examples I can give is I did some like monochrome paintings, right? Only I don't call them monochromes. I call them limited hue paintings, because each painting has like a minimum of like 5 colors in it, even though it looks like it's practically a monochrome. Just learn bloodhounds' long ears help to focus the senses by limiting hearing while brushing up scents towards the nose. That's so interesting. That's fascinating. But yeah, so my limited hue paintings, each one has like at least 5 different colors in it. But a lot of people will just look at it and be like, "Oh, it's a nice monochrome." Some of them aren't monochrome. Some of them clearly aren't monochrome, but some very close, very very close. But the reason I didn't do it monochrome was I actually really enjoyed having access to being able to shift the temperature a little bit, which I found very helpful. And I could also play around with saturation a little more than I would have been able to had it been actually monochrome. Can I see all the subtleties? Sure, yeah, absolutely. Um, you could appreciate this painting more on the big screen. Oh, yeah. It's still kind of blurry. Like I'm still, still working on it, obviously. Although these faces aren't going to be like super clean when it's done. Um, this is, I guess I should talk about the painting a little too today. Um, this painting is from Found Photography. Um, and so because of that, I'm avoiding doing like I don't want to do like portraits. I just want to, do figurative. So it's like, yeah, you can see the people, but I don't want it to be like so distinct that like someone could necessarily recognize them. Not that I'm worried that the person is actually going to see it. That's not really the concern. It's just that's not the focus of it, so I don't want to do that. It's more because like I kind of want this to be like a painting of a memory, of a shared memory. So I don't want to do those details. And yeah, I'll show you one of those paintings before I go. I'm gonna be finishing up in a couple minutes. Um, because yeah, like I said, I'm limited unfortunately today on time. During the week it's tough to stream sometimes. Um, the weekend I tend to go longer. I have been getting like super tired when streaming on Sunday, but I think I think this lav mic that I bought is actually going to help with that. I think I've been trying to like project my voice while streaming, and I think that's been wearing me out, which I was surprised. I didn't think about that, but I do think that was the problem. We'll find out on Sunday. Yeah. All right. All right, here, let me get a couple of the paintings to show. Hold on. All right. Do that. Let's see. I thought they were back here. They're not back here. Okay. Well, one I don't have anymore because I sold it. So that's, that's good. I enjoy selling my paintings. And most of my paintings that I paint on stream are for sale. Just, hint, hint. Just FYI, people. Just letting you know. But no, I really enjoy I do enjoy selling my paintings. Not just for the money. Like obviously, money's good. It's good to have money, but I enjoy selling my paintings because the fact that someone was willing to buy it, it's very validating, for sure. And I appreciate that. I appreciate people willing to, I appreciate what that means for people to part with their money for that. So I feel like I'm going crazy here. Did I put them away? Oh, I have one of them, but like I have more of them. Well, this one's not the most subtle of them, but you cut your locks about 16 inches? That's crazy. Here's one of the paintings. This one is more obvious that it's not monochrome. But when you see it in person, I think you see a lot more subtlety than you can, here necessarily. Oh, it's shiny. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where my other ones are. That's so weird. But yeah, this one's not the most, like I said, not the most subtle. But, and you can't see it maybe on the screen, but I used titanium white and titanium white and lead white on this. And there's magenta and there's a blue and there's, red in there and some yellow. So there's a lot going on to just get this very narrow hues. But this one, like I said, is a little more drastic than some of my other ones, but yeah. 16 inches, that's so much. My wife did a lot of subtleties in grays. These are very chromatic. Oh, they're definitely very chromatic. It's just the range is small. That's what I was referring to. So, you can where to God, I had one over here. Did I put it? Oh, here's another one. I found one. I'm covering up paintings at this point. So if you've ever seen like monochromes that are done with a single color, a lot of some artists use like a very intense red before, as a first like pass on their painting. I'm sure you've seen that where there's an artist that I love. I can't remember his name right now. His painting was what inspired me to do this. He has this red painting of a woman, and he then painted over it. But you know, he painted with just that red and the white of the canvas, and then that was it. Like that was how he did that. And it's beautiful, but it's monochrome in the sense that it's just that one color, right? So here, I didn't do the same thing because I wasn't doing the like rub out technique that he does. So yeah, but this has, once again, this has like 7 different, you know, pigments in it, like different colors mixed in together. But if you were to, you know, do the, what's it called? That's why I call them limited hue, because if I'm very, you know, Photoshop centric, the hue that it fits in is very narrow. So, you know, it's a little orange and a little red, and that's it. Like that's the range, you know. Thank you, I appreciate that. And then, I don't know if you've seen this, so I apologize if you have, and I'm just like being annoying. But I've done these paintings that are single value. At least that was the goal. I didn't come up with this. Nicholas Uribe did it, and he didn't come up with it. So I'm not, you know, claiming anything. But it's a single value, theoretically, or at least that's the goal. But this one happens to be a light value, but it's just, the idea was that if you turn this black and white, it will be, you know, not black and white, grayscale, it will be just a gray square. Actually, I think I can do that real quick. Pull up my filters. There we go. Yeah, right here. Wait a second. Where is it? Color. Nope. Color correction. There we go. Like, look at that. It's not perfect. I'm not going to claim to be 100% perfect, but I mean, I have to hold it at an angle too because the light's so bright you can't see it like this. And part of what you're seeing is also just the, what's it called? The direction of the paint too is affecting it. But yeah, it's like, it's there, but it's close. Like, you know, I'm not perfect, unfortunately. I wish I'd gotten it 100% right, but yeah. That was a lot of fun. It is very challenging to do those. I do enjoy them very much, though. They're so cool. Like this one too. Once again, you can kind of see there's a figure there, but when I get rid of the filter, very different. But yeah, they're fun. I think it's one of those things that it's a fun challenge that artists, you know, should give it a shot. Anyways, well, it was a good time tonight. I wish I could stream longer. I really want to finish this painting. But I don't have the time tonight, unfortunately. I can't keep going. So I'm going to call it a night tonight. And hopefully I'll be starting a new painting on Sunday, or I'll be finishing this one. Either way. Creative Fit, thank you so much for keeping me company. I appreciate all the talking. Be fun to talk about it for a while, then do a chroma reveal. Yeah. Absolutely. I should do a okay, you just made that, you gave me a fun idea. It'd be fun to like be real tight on a painting so you can only see the brush and the painting. You can't see my hand. And it'd be all black and white, grayscale. And it just looks like I'm painting, just a square and then do the chroma reveal at the end. That could be fun. I like that idea. Anyways, thank you all for hanging out with me. All the people watching the VOD, you're welcome to ask questions, leave comments below on YouTube. Yeah. Anyways, I will be back on Sunday during the day, usually around 2-ish, Texas time. So yeah. Anyways, take care. I'll watch for you. Oh, thank you so much, Creative Fit. I appreciate it. Bye.